Hello there and welcome again to my workshop, and this the first tutorial for Carveco, which is the new face of ArtCAM. So this is their website. If you go there you can get all the information on purchase and what have you, but something that you won't see on there yet anyway, my sources tell me that, and already I've had comments about this, that in the pipeline there is a hobbyist version, and they also tell me that it is in line with the old Insignia. Don't know whether you remember some years ago, I think this is 2015, there was 4 titles, which was Express, Insignia, Pro and Jewelsmith. The team at Carveco have brought out first the equivalent to Jewelsmith, which is the full Monty, and secondly, like I say, in the pipeline there is going to be a hobbyist version which is in line with the old Insignia. So you will be able to actually create some 3D models. So, first look at it, I suppose. Okay, so this is the screen that presents itself to you when you open it. Of course, there's the different help centers and community that you can, or the Carveco community that you can go to for help. But also be aware that if you go to the ArtCAM tutorials and subscribe to that, because they're still all there on YouTube, they actually apply to this program as well, because the program is identical. The only thing that's changed is the logo. So we'll open it up. Now, to open it up, you come here to New Model. Now that fetches a dialog box up, and really just you fill this in with the XY dimensions of your work. So what I'm actually going to do, and you can also do this in the hobbyist version, I have a lot of people say to me about oh, they find it confusing working with layers and 3D objects. Well, this very first tutorial, and it's something that I learnt how to do first in Express actually, and that is put multiple 3D objects into one screen on one layer. The only difficulty with doing this is when you place the 3D object into your picture and set a Z height and you apply it, that's it. You can't change it. That is the only drawback. So if you make a mistake when you're halfway through, you've got to go back to the beginning. And this is one reason why you have layers and you put 3D objects on different layers. But I have been asked numerous times how to do this process, so I'm going to make this the first video and show you how to make a pretty decent 3-dimensional picture with, we'll see if we can get about 9 or 10 different 3D pieces of art into one picture. Okay, so we'll start off by giving it a size. So we're going to say 300 in the X and 250 in the Y, and medium resolution is fine actually. I know a lot of people put the resolution all the way up, maximum resolution. It takes up a lot of disk space on your computer. And when you come to machine it, there's really not much difference between midway and high. So I just leave it there, which is midway setting. Okay, and we're going to be working in millimeters. I will also be providing later on some tutorials in inches as well, just to cater for everybody. Okay, so we press OK. And there you are. Okay, so this is the screen that is presented, and the only thing that has changed with it obviously is the name at the top there, Carveco, and the emblem here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a 3D picture here made up of possibly 10 3D reliefs on one layer. Because I've had a lot of people get quite confused about the layering process. The only problem with this method is as you put 3D objects in here and place them down, they're there to stay. You can't alter them afterwards. That is why you have different layers for relief, so you can go in and edit. But I will show you this method anyway. It's a useful method to know. So we'll move this over. By the way, to move anything on the screen here, if you hover over and press left and right mouse keys, you can move it wherever you want. So what we're going to do is open up the Relief Clipper library, and we are looking for frames, and we're going to get a picture frame and put in here, and then we're going to make it the size of our material, which was 300 by 250. I'm going to make it 19 millimeters in depth, which is roughly 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to apply that, and position it there on our work and paste. And it's there to stay. Lovely 3D frame. And later videos, I'm going to try and do approximately 10 videos in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And this being, the first one to show you, get you started then with reliefs and get you making something. So the next thing we want is, I think, greenery, because what I want this to be like a sort of an outdoor sort of scene. So we've got greenery, and with this method too, you need to start with the frame, obviously, then go and put objects into the background first, then work your way forward. So let me see. Oh, here we go. Mountains. So I'm going to bring mountains in. There they are. And I want these reliefs to bleed over into the frame. So when you machine this, you have this sort of bleeding into the frame as well, and it makes it more alive, I think. That's my thought about it anyway. So I'm going to reduce that. Again, I'm sorry about the wind noise. Not much I can do about that, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's fine. So I just want to reduce this. It's a little bit high. I'm going to take this to 5 millimeters. I'm going to apply that and have a look. Yeah, that's okay. Gives me enough room, I think, to do what I want to do. Down a little there. I think, yeah, I'm going to paste that. Beautiful, we have mountains. Next thing, I think, yes, we're going to put a forest in. Oh, that's a big forest. So we better reduce that straight away. And I think that looks like, there again I want this to bleed over into the frame, but I think that's a little bit too high, so we're going to take that down to say 8.5 maybe. You know, it's just personal preference too. I don't want to lose too much of the trees into the mountains here. And I think that's going to be fine, so I'm going to paste that. And of course, if you make a mistake here and you're not happy with it, you've got to go right back to the beginning and start again with this method, unfortunately. Now then, what else am I going to put in there? Oh, field. I want to fill this with rough grass, so we'll just get this one. I think that's a little, let's go 2.5 millimeters with this, I think. 2.5 millimeters, and we'll have a look at it first. Yeah, so the grass sort of fades into the trees, but it doesn't sort of go onto the tree or the you know, the trunk of the trees. That's what I'm looking for. That's fine. I'm going to paste that. There you go. Because when, I mean, in real life, when you're looking at a field, it sort of blends into everything else, as this does. That's fine. Now, I saw as the emblem, well, I suppose one of the emblems that Carveco has on their opening screen, actually, it's the first thing you see, and that is this sunflower. But I'm going to use this as a sun. It's a little big at the moment, but we're going to reduce it right the way down to about that size. Take it a little further down. And we're going to make that about 3 millimeter, I believe. Yeah, 3 millimeter will be fine. We'll have a look at that. And I think I want it there. I'm going to paste it. Yes, and it does look like a sun. We know it's a sunflower, but we won't tell anyone. Okay. All right, so we're going to put some clouds in now. Now, if you are not sure where to find something within the relief library, if you open up the listing and go into reliefs, the whole lot come up, and you know, you can scroll down through everything to find what you want. And I'm looking for clouds. I'm really not sure where they are. I've seen them here, or a cloud anyway. I think it's in objects, I'm not sure. So you can see there's over 600 individual 3D reliefs, and Art. I don't think it's this far down. I think I've gone past it somewhere. There it is. Cloud. So we're just going to pick this cloud and we're going to put it here, and now we're going to make it, I want to put it like that, a little bit smaller, there like that, and we're possibly 2 millimeters high. Let's have a look at that. Yep, and paste it. There's one cloud, so we're going to get another cloud now. And we're going to make this a big menacing cloud. I want this one to actually be a low-lying cloud to wash it down into the mountains here. So it's sort of coming down the valley. And you know, this is your creation. You can do whatever you want. It's like a 3D painting. Make it what you want. Big nasty cloud. Isn't quite coming over the mountain. It's not quite washing over the mountain here like I wanted it. So I'm going to raise it up in Z, and I'm going to say 3 millimeters. And that is my German Shepherd. No, Marima. That's the Marima having a go on guard. There you go. Now you can tell it shows up blue, so you know that it's going to be over the you know, the sort of mountain. So we're going to paste that. Beautiful. And one little tiny cloud here, just to break that bit of sky up. Oh, I've lost my clouds. Where have they gone? You come back here and zoom in. Yeah, the weather has upset the dogs a bit too. So forgive the barking of the dogs in the background. But, you know, they're here to do a job. They look after the stock and us. So let's go and find the cloud again down here. There it is. So we're going to have a little cloud here. And we're going to turn him slightly, I think. That's enough. Just to break the skyline up over there. I'm going to take this to 2 millimeters. And we're going to apply that, and I'm going to paste it down. So now to put a bit of more life into this, what I want to do is I want to, you know, I consider this to be like a Canadian or a North American forest scene, and no scene like that is ever finished without, I think, something like a wolf in it. So we're going to find a wolf, which is in animals, I believe. There he is. Bring him in. Oh, he's big. So we're going to make him a lot smaller than that. There we go. But you do notice his mouth is missing there because the tree behind is sort of making it disappear a bit. So bring him down, bring him down. There we go. I think he's a little, I'm going to bring that down to 7 millimeters in Z. Yep, that'll be fine. He won't be so sort of, we'll take him up a little bit, I think. There we go, we've got all of his mouth in now, and you can tell, you know, it's completely blue. If there was a bit of gold in there, it'd be hidden by that tree. His feet here are just missing a little bit, so make them a little tiny bit smaller. Bit fiddly. That is perfect. And there's a lot happening in there, so I'm going to paste him. There he is. That is beautiful. Now, like I say, if you want to move this around in the screen, what you need to do is hover over it with the cursor, press the left and right mouse key, and you can move it anywhere. But if you want to have a look at the 3D-ness of it, you come up here to this, it's called a twiddle button. So then you just use the left and you can have a look at your 3D, move it around. And if you get a little lost and you can't get it nice and square, just come back up here and press that, and it'll bring it back to a nice square, full picture. Okay, now the next part is choosing a tool or tools, because this is going to be done in two different machinings. I'm going to do a roughing cut with a 12mm end mill, and then we're going to do a finishing cut, go all over it with a 3D strategy with a tapered ball mill. Okay, when it comes to cutting tools, for something of this size, I would prefer to use like this is a half inch or 12mm end mill, 3 flute. But this here, this is a tapered ball mill. Now I would advise anybody to use these for the final cut. It's a 2mm diameter ball at the end, tapered cutting shank up to 6mm or 1/4 inch. Beautiful finish, doesn't flex, good tool. In actual fact, it doesn't exist in the tooling list, so I'm going to show you how to create a tool in the tooling list as well. Okay, so toolpaths. And it's a 3D machining toolpath. This one, the whole relief, and a roughing. Now I break this up into two separate. You know, I deal with this first, the roughing, then I'll come back into it and deal with the finishing strategy. So, roughing, end mill, 12mm, and okay, we're going to select this and then we're going to edit it in when we've chose it. So we're going to select that. Okay, so then we go into here and we can edit this to suit our material. So I find if you have the step over too coarse, it splinters out material, and you can end up, sort of taking out the end of his nose before you even get to the finishing pass. So yeah, I'm going to be conservative. I like to be conservative here and say 3mm. 3mm step over and step down. That is probably way too much for my liking. you know, and considering this is going to be pine or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to go 3mm step down as well. Feed rate. Now, I can put this up to probably 60. Plunge rate. Now, I'm going to make that 25. Now, we're talking CNC router here, so, you know, they can machine very quickly. 15,000 RPM, that's okay. Now, what I always say is, now I personally use Mark III, so whatever you put in here when it comes to the speed feeds and RPM, you can alter that in Mark III. This is not set in concrete here. Like I normally start up at 10%. I tell set Mark III to 10% of feed rate. So that will be 6mm a second. This is 60mm a second, which is really getting along. So, you know, don't be too afraid. Just remember to start it up slowly in Mark III. And, you know, I'm just showing you a sort of educated example, shall we say. Normal raster, fine. We don't want any angle, you know, we don't want to come in here and go like this. We just want to come in the X and go left to right in the X. We want to cut both directions, so cut this way and cut that way, which is fine. There's slices. No, you can leave that alone because we've already set in here the step down depth. Okay, lead in moves absolutely definite. Add ramp moves. That means the tool is going to come to the material. Oh, if I can just get something to represent material. It's the spindle is going to come over here like this, and it's going to ramp down into the material gently like that. Not just come along and go straight into the material. You end up damaging your machine or breaking tools or something. So we're going to okay that. For this is I'm going to set the I'm going to go with the recommended settings here. They're fine. Safe set over material 20. Oh, that's okay. Material size, we've already set it 19mm. Model position, top. Okay, this is all okay. So we're going to okay that. And now I abbreviate everything. So long as I or you can understand what this is, you know, it's fine. You can put anything in there. You can put caret 1 if you want to. But cut 1 12mm E, that's fine, end mill. And I'm going to calculate that. Okay, calculate that. There she goes, fairly quick. Okay, so that's done. Now what I like to do with this, I like to come out of it, then go back into it again. This is just my personal preference. I'm going to go 3D, toolpath, machining relief, finishing option. Now then, I think actually this is okay, so we're going to go with this one here. So what we're going to do, we are going to now make a tool in the tooling list. So we're going to choose the 2mm ball mill. Okay, then we're going to make a copy of it. So that one is chosen, and we're going to edit that copy. To go to there and edit. Now what you put in here goes into the tooling file. And all I'm going to put here is a big capital T for tapered tool. This one. Maybe ArtCAM will make a selection of tapered tools. I don't know. I'll have to ask them. Tool number doesn't really matter at this stage. I mean, that only really matters if you've got a tool changer. Millimeters, units, millimeters per second. This is all okay. Yeah, you can leave all this, because then you can alter this when you select the tool, and it will depend on what material you are using or you are machining. So we're going to OK that, and see, there it is, and it's already in the tooling listing. We're going to select that one. So we're going to come back in here now, and we're going to alter this. Step over. I'm going to make that 0.15. Now I find 0.15 leaves, it nearly eradicates any furring left behind. That's what I find. 50, that can go to 60. This can go to 25. And this can go to 20,000 RPM. This is, my personal preference. Step down. Actually, I'm going to take that to 3mm to make sure that it only does it in one cut. Okay. And then again, I've learned that over the years that if I'd have left that 1.5, it's possible it could have gone over this twice. And that takes a lot of time, and time's money, so they say. So that's okay. A raster, this is all okay. Ratmos, yep, that's all okay. That's all okay. Thickness 19 mil. So really, all we need to do here is go. Cut, fin, finishing, to my tapered, calculate now. This will take some time, I think. Millions of calculations now. This computer is doing absolutely millions of calculations and thousands of lines of G-code. And this is the beauty of these programs. You don't have to worry about G-code or what it means. The only thing you need to do is be able to set the 0, 0, and that's it. That can go. Okay, so really it's as simple as that. Okay, so now we'll go to simulate, and we'll simulate all tool paths, which is that. We want it fast because we don't want to sit around for a long time. I'm going to go. There it is, done. Twiddle. Let's change it to something that is, the material is likely to be. And we're going to try. Let's alter this to. What did I say? Pine, didn't I? Okay. Pine. Apply. There it is in pine. Ooh. I don't particularly like it in pine, actually. Let's try something a little bit darker. medium oak horizontal. Let's have a look at that. Oh. It's okay. I mean, you can play around and, you know, whatever preference you have with material. Let's try beech actually. I've never tried beech before. Beech horizontal. Oh, that's a bit better. Yes, I quite like that. Well, we'll stick with that. There it is. Beautiful. And of course now to save your tool paths, that's an easy process. Save tool paths. And the only thing you've got to remember, I mean, it depends on what machine you're using, but normally any CNC router or anything of that nature, even a Tormac, even a Haas, they understand straightforward G-code, which is down here. I mean, these are all the different types of G-code that Carveco can actually write it up in. But we are interested in this one. Is standard G-code, millimeters, tap, and that's what you save the code in. And you know, you can save it to wherever you want. Documents, browse, desktop. That's very low. Normally like to save. Okay. So then you just you can move these around however you want. So if I take this one and put it over here, because this window it'll save. So we want to save this one first, and it's going to be you can name it anything you want. Cut one. Okay, cut one and save. Done. Highlight it, put it over this side. 2mm ball nose, tapered. Cut two. Cut two, tapered, and save. And there you go. You take it to your machine and machine it. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial today, the first tutorial for the Carveco program, and I hope you like what you see. And this is a very easy process to do, and you could make this one of your first projects. To cut this. It's a very nice presentable picture actually. So please, if you've liked what you've seen, press like, subscribe to my channel, because I'll be bringing you a lot more in the way of CNC machining, and certainly Carveco. So thank you today for joining me, and it's bye for now.